You know, in the history of Silicon Valley, there are stories. And then there are legends. And this is a legend. It's about a single company that didn't just hit it big. It accidentally unleashed a group of people who would go on to build the modern world as we know it. This is the incredible story of the PayPal Mafia.
So that's the big question, right? How on earth did one startup, one team, produce the minds behind Tesla, SpaceX, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Yelp? I mean, the list just goes on. The answer, as you're about to see, is this amazing mix of talent, intense culture, and what happens when you set brilliant, competitive people free with a lot of money.
All right, so to really get this story, you have to know that PayPal wasn't just PayPal from the start. Oh no. It was actually forged in the fire of a brutal, head-to-head rivalry between two super ambitious startups.
So on one side of the ring, you had Confinity. This was Peter Thiel and Max Levchin's baby, and they were completely obsessed with cracking secure digital payments. And in the other corner, you had a company called X.com, founded by none other than Elon Musk, who had this massive vision of creating a one-stop-shop online bank. Both were gunning for the exact same prize, the future of money itself.
The fighting between them got so intense, so expensive, they realized they were just going to bleed each other dry. So in March of 2000, they did the unthinkable. They merged. But wow, the drama did not stop there. The internal power struggles were legendary. And it all came to a head when Elon Musk was actually fired as CEO while he was on his honeymoon. So yeah, this was not some calm, happy corporate family. It was a pressure cooker from day one.
So you have to wonder, right? With all that chaos at the start, how did they become so incredibly effective? Well, that brings us to the real secret sauce of PayPal. It had nothing to do with corporate retreats or mission statements. It was all about creating a culture that forged talent in a crucible of constant, intense debate. And that culture? It started with who they hired. Thiel and Levchin, they actively avoided the typical corporate manager types. They wanted what they called competitive builders. These were people who were not only brilliant and ambitious, but who actually loved to argue and debate to find the best answer. They cared about raw talent and drive, not a perfectly polished resume.
This quote just says it all. Imagine that. No boring, formal meetings where nothing gets decided. Instead, it was just pure, unfiltered discussion. The best idea won, period. It didn't matter if you were the CEO or a junior engineer. That kind of environment, that meritocracy, it forces you to be sharp, and it creates these incredibly strong, battle-tested bonds between people.
So all that drive and relentless focus, it really paid off. They built the best online payment system, hands down. And when you build something that good, the giants start to notice. Which brings us to the huge turning point in this story. The acquisition that looked like the ultimate victory, but had a really unexpected twist.
In 2002, eBay came calling, and they bought PayPal for $1.5 billion. I mean, for that time, this was just a massive, massive win. Everybody involved had made it. They were rich. The story was supposed to be over.
But here's the crazy part. While the deal made them all millionaires, they quickly found out they hated the corporate culture at eBay. It was slow, it was bureaucratic, it was everything they weren't. They were builders and fighters, not managers in a big company. So one by one, with their pockets full of cash, they started to leave, looking for the next big thing to build.
And this, right here, is where the story goes from a successful startup story to an absolute legend. Because this great exodus wasn't an ending. It was a rebirth. It was the spark that lit one of the most incredible explosions of innovation Silicon Valley has ever seen.
I mean, really think about it for a second. You've got this whole group of brilliant, competitive people. They're all new millionaires, and they're all free agents at pretty much the same time. They could have bought an island and retired. They could have done literally anything. So what did they do?
They did this. They went out and completely reshaped our world. Elon Musk goes off and founds SpaceX and takes over Tesla. Reid Hoffman creates the professional network we all use, LinkedIn. 3 of them get together and create YouTube. Others go on to found Yelp, Yammer, Affirm, and Peter Thiel, he becomes the very first outside investor in a little company called Facebook. The list is just absolutely staggering.
So, naturally, when this many alumni from one company start changing the world, the media starts paying attention. In 2007, Fortune magazine actually got them all together for this now famous photo shoot, dressed them up like mobsters, and called them the PayPal Mafia. And the name just stuck. It perfectly captured their rebellious vibe and their powerful, tight-knit network. And just like that, a Silicon Valley legend was officially born.
But here's the most important part of all of this.
This isn't just some cool one-off story. It's actually a blueprint. When you look at their lasting legacy, you can pull out the principles and the strategies that led to all this world-changing success.
And a massive piece of that blueprint was their network. See, they didn't just go their separate ways. As you can see here, they kept investing in each other, advising each other, and backing each other's crazy ideas. Peter Thiel was one of the first believers in Musk's SpaceX. Max Levchin helped get Yelp off the ground. This trusted network was their absolute superpower. It let them move faster and take bigger swings than anyone else.
And the result of that superpower? Well, the numbers are just mind-blowing. The original company, PayPal, sold for a cool $1.5 billion. But the combined value of the companies they built after they left, as you can see, we're talking well over $1 trillion. That's the power of compounding talent and trust. It's just incredible.
So, what are the big takeaways from all this? Here's the blueprint, plain and simple. First, hire absolutely brilliant, driven builders. Not just employees, but builders. Second, create a culture where ideas are rigorously debated. Third, build deep, real relationships based on trust and respect through shared struggle. Fourth, back each other's vision. And finally, and this is so crucial, never stop building. A huge success isn't the finish line. It's a launch pad for what comes next.
And that kind of leaves us with one last really fascinating question to think about. This story proves that a single team can literally change the world. So where is the next one? What company right now is quietly assembling the next legendary team that's going to define our future? Makes you wonder, doesn't it?